show can be a little gay,
but if you're not,
that's okay.
You can listen and have fun either way.
Xena, Star Wars, Doctor Who, guests and music and reviews, Game of Thrones, Winona too. We promise there's something for you. She nerds out. We're girls that like nerdy things. Nerdy things.
Hello and welcome to the She Nerds Out podcast. I'm Kat.
I'm Wendy.
This is Tara.
On today's episode, we're joined again by Anne Higgs-Bleeker to talk about our book club selection, Cleat Cute. We're going to make a quick trip to Purgatory, but first, hey, Wendy.
Okay. Birthdays? There's one on...
Whoa. Let us first celebrate the gayest thing of them all. I don't know if it's a birthday of sorts, but it's certainly time to celebrate. It's Pride, y'all. Pride month.
Pride.
Pride. Y'all doing anything to celebrate Pride?
Nope. I got my flag out. Flag's flying.
Y'all, there's Dodger game Pride, Angel City Pride, Dyke Day.
Sure, yeah, heard of that.
Yeah, you ignored me when I sent it.
Everyone else
that didn't go.
Excuse me, I said I'm going out of town.
Yes, Wendy said she's going out of town. Then
right.
Anne jumped in and you ignored it.
It just seems
Dyke
like
Day, LA.
It's just like a whole big schlep. You got to park far away, and then you got to bring this thing, and
Wow.
I'm getting older, Tara. I'm getting older. You know.
There's a dog parade at Dyke Day, so
that sounds awesome.
Is it
going to be like live streaming anywhere?
I don't think so.
All right. Well.
Anyway, there are lots of things to do for Pride. What are y'all doing out there for Pride? Anything fun going on around the world? If any of y'all would like to join me for anything, since these two
is going out of
are
town.
not available. Yeah, so figure that out.
Well, are you like? Do you want to make the Dyke Day like us? Like, are you inviting Snop Tarts to come as well?
Yeah, if there's anybody around that wants to go, literally anyone can go with me at this point.
Well, we got Anne's in. I'm sure Noe will go. You know, like you got some backup.
I don't know. Anyway, I'll save that hurt for later.
Just bury it deep down inside.
Bury it. Getting buried. Okay. So there was something else of Pride I had. I don't know what happened.
Sports. You get a rant about the Rangers hat?
Yes. Thank you very much. That was exactly it. So speaking of Pride, pretty much every team, everybody's posting, every team, every company has their rainbow logos out now.
Sure.
And in the Major League Baseball, that's for our non-Americans, that's where they swing a bat at a ball and they catch with their gloves. Not cricket. They have gloves, not like cricket.
No.
Every team has a Pride night. So Dodgers have a Pride night, and they have Pride merch. So like they have different things. Like you can go to like Star Wars night they had recently. So they have different things like Pride night, like Mexican Heritage night. And every team except the world champion Texas Rangers are the one team. This is the Texas Rangers that are the beloved team of Wendy and I. We are both from Dallas, Texas. Texas Rangers are the one team that willfully does not have a Pride night. The owners of the team refuse, to the dismay and disappointment of their own employees, who have strongly voiced their just outrage at this. But it is the owner who says we will not have that here. So that's its own thing that I have.
What a dick.
DM'd MLB about myself. You know, I just think it's ridiculous that it can't. Essentially, yeah, they own the team, but they don't have to be allowed to play in Major League Baseball if they won't have an all-inclusive night like every other freaking team does. At this point, it's willful discrimination, right? They're purposely holding out. So Wendy forwarded me an email and said, well, look here, you can at least get this hat. And it was a Texas Rangers hat. I have the version of the Dodgers hat that says LA, and it's a rainbow. And it's like the LA is the coloring is changed on the it's a licensed product, MLB product, that they sell for Pride. And so the email that Wendy sent had a picture of a Texas T-shirt that was like a rainbow. It's a Texas, and it was like, I don't know, love is love, or and it had the Texas logo on there. And then it had the Rangers version, the T with the rainbow on it. And I was like, whoa, cool. Okay, then my Pride night, but I got to get that. Mm-hmm. So immediately I'm clicking on this link. Well, guess what? Can't get that hat. It's not there.
What do you mean?
It's not there. They have it listed in this real nice graphic of an email. It's not for sale anywhere. So I wrote them. I commented on there because MLB put a big old rainbow post up saying "Happy Pride, #Pride, y'all. Baseball's for everyone." So I commented on there and I said, "Where do I get that Rangers hat? Because it was in your email, but it's not for sale on your site." And I said, and since the Rangers are embarrassingly the only team that doesn't have a Pride, I want to make sure to rep gay Rangers fans, right?
Yeah.
And so obviously they didn't write me back, and then I DM'd them the same thing.
Okay.
Along with my thoughts about how they are allowing this to happen. Mm-hmm. And obviously I haven't heard back from that either.
Okay.
But that is some sports that's upsetting me right now.
Yeah, that's some bullshit right there. Even the Florida Marlins, who play in Florida, who, famously their fucking governor is like pretty anti-gay.
Yeah.
They have a Pride night.
Yeah.
So
Florida team has a Pride night. The hated Houston Astros have a Pride night.
Wow.
They were the last team. I think they had their first one last year. They're the last team to hold out. The two Texas, I was like so disappointed. The freaking Florida team gets a Pride night before. You're on the wrong side of history, folks.
Yeah, no shit. That sucks.
But yeah, that's that. And I can't find this hat, so I'm still looking. And
yeah, it's weird that it's in the email ad, but then it's not on the site.
It's bizarre.
And I feel like, and it's not because it's sold out. Like they still have it on there, even if it's sold out or whatever, and no trace of it. It's like, but the only other quote Pride things on there are like clearly aftermarket. Like let's put a rainbow behind the Rangers logo. There's like a flag and like a baby cover, like a bib. That's what they call it, a baby cover.
Baby cover.
But it looks like this is the MLB website, right? But it looks like the thing that, like, they've ordered these from, like, Etsy, and someone's making them off Etsy.
Yeah, it's what it looks like.
It does not look like, and even the Texas, the only one that's like says Texas, like in the different colors of the rainbow, and it has like, and even that doesn't even look that official to me. But the one thing that would have looked official was that hat with the rainbow. And I feel like the Rangers
cover the baby. You need to cover
put
the baby.
Cover on.
Cover the baby.
And I feel like, I don't know if the Rangers like, no, that's too, you can't put a rainbow on our tee.
Right. God forbid.
Well, that's what Etsy's for, folks. I'm going to find a way to put a rainbow on that tee, on the hat. But yeah, those.
You know what's weird, Tara?
That's shitty.
So I'm looking now, and it's like if you Google Texas Rangers Pride hat, it says MLB Pride Collection Texas Rangers. There's literally a picture of the hat, and then you click on the link, and then there's no hat. It's very odd,
right? It links you to the quote Pride collection of like 3 things, which one is the baby cover, and it's not there.
Yeah.
So
I do see the baby cover.
And it doesn't it look like someone just like for the picture photoshopped a rainbow behind the thing? And
yeah.
Now there is a hat that looks like it's available on what? So I clicked on the Google link and it was to Fanatics. There's literally a picture of the Rangers hat, and then it takes me to an LA Dodgers hat.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
Yeah. And I was scrolling through, has all the other hats for the other teams, but not the Rangers.
So there are some Texas Rangers Pride shirts.
There
Sorta.
are, but they don't.
Like Texas is love, which is very funny to me.
Yeah. But they
And they
look
won't-
very aftermarket. They look very like the Dodgers have like a really nice like full gay jersey, as do like I've seen everybody posting about their upcoming like going to this team's Pride night. Look what their cool gift is, you know, and like some real nice merch. And the three things they have there look like, I mean, no offense to Etsy, they got some great stuff on there, but or like Redbubble, you know, like I could have that same stuff made on Redbubble.
For sure. I gotcha.
And then the hat, which is the most officially licensed, definitely the thing, you know.
Sure. No,
it's there.
It would be what I think most people would want. Like that, it would be really cool.
I did find one, but it says sold out on one part and then almost gone on another.
Where on like what's the site name?
It says Texas Rangers official online shop. But
Okay.
it doesn't. So maybe it was sold out. Maybe that's why it didn't show up. But I don't
they
know.
leave things up there that are sold out.
Right.
Like you search them and they come up and they say sold out, like no longer available. So, I mean, if that's the case, that it's sold out so fast, they just don't have them up. But that, I don't know. That's not their normal practice.
And you have to like, it's a weird way of, you know, maybe they're saying, oh, we're out of stock. It's like, because we never gave them any to sell.
Right. Because we never
Right.
actually made them.
Right.
Right. Yeah. And the ones I see on anywhere else are very aftermarket looking. That have like are not the official at all. But the one they had in the email was the official, like clearly the T is a very distinct T, and it was the official one. And I feel like they just do not want them. Yeah, the Pride collection here, it has everything, all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which includes the hat. So 6 without the hat. I could get a Mr. and Mr. sign with a Texas Rangers logo. Now that looks straight off Redbubble right there.
Nothing against Redbubble. We love
Nothing
you.
against Redbubble, but
love
MLB is selling it, you know, like, and then it's literally just a T with a rainbow wheel. I feel like they couldn't. Here's the difference. The things with the rainbow are just a rainbow. That could be anything, right? But on the hat, it has the trans pride color. It is the full inclusive. It has the black, the brown, the trans pride, all the rainbow. So it's clearly for pride. Whereas these other things are not the full spectrum, right? We'll say. So
yeah, just the old sort of the old
that
rainbow.
thing, and it's branded on the side. You can see it is 47. That is the branded hat. That's the same as my Dodgers one.
Right.
So that is full gay. Like these other ones, you can just say, "Oh, it's a pretty rainbow," right? Like a kid put it on a bib. Why would you have a bib? You know, it's just a weird thing to have in your Pride collection. Because I feel like it was already there, you know, and people just like rainbows. Some people, right?
Sure.
But that hat is full queer, and it ain't there.
That sucks.
Case of the missing hat.
Maybe the hats are with Calamity Jane.
I don't know.
Don't go there, Kat.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
The hat is out there, just like Calamity Jane.
Right. That's what I meant.
But anyway, we'll let you know what happens with the hat if it ever pops up.
Yes. Keep us posted.
Would it cheer you up to do some birthdays?
Yeah, I would.
All
Whose
right.
birthday is it?
You know what? On June 4th, I don't know if y'all have heard of this guy or not, but his name's Tim Rozon. Is that how you say it? Tim Rozon?
Yes.
Tim Rozon.
Rosen.
He was on a show called Winona Earp.
Oh.
And Schitt's Creek.
And
Yes.
that too.
And Lost Girl.
And
Oh,
the
I
real
forgot about
estate.
The real estate.
And Lake Placid.
And Lake Placid. That's right.
He's
gets
done a
around.
lot of things. How old is
He's
he?
always working.
He was in something called Calamity Jane. That's funny. Maybe it was about
Calamity
the cat.
Jane Calamity Jane returns.
Revenge.
Should be.
Revenge.
Tim.
46.
45.
He'll be 48.
No.
Born in 76. Is that right? That's right.
He
Yeah.
looks amazing.
76. Yeah, I guess so.
48.
Is that,
Wow.
is that right?
Is that right?
'Cause it's 2024.
He was born in 76.
He is, yeah. He's going to be 48.
Wow. I mean, I'm just looking at these pictures of him from EDE. Wow.
I know.
Good job, Tim. What's your secret?
Well done,
Seriously.
Tim.
He looks
Well
really good.
done.
Having a beard always helps. You know, I feel like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
It's a good look.
This one's for you, Kat.
Oh.
June 10th, Gina Gershon.
Ooh. Gina Gershon is going to be. Oh,
Wow.
shit. I'm going to say 52.
I'm going to say 55.
She's going to be 62.
No.
Whoa. Oh, my God. How old is Jennifer
62.
Tilly? How old is my good friend Jennifer Tilly? Future guest of this podcast.
She was, Gershon was just on an episode of Elsbeth playing a
yeah.
lesbian.
Yeah.
That was, of
Oh,
course,
wow.
the one we want.
The one we watched with my mom.
Yes, and you're like, of course, this is the one that comes on with my mom.
Jennifer Tilly, okay, in September,
I'm
Jennifer Tilly will be 66.
No.
Yeah.
I'm kind of shocked at that, really.
Wild.
What?
She does not look 65 years old.
66? Good
Wow.
Lord. That's... Well, look, these are Hollywood people. They don't age like the rest of us. Yeah, I think I have one for you, Tara.
Okay.
Hold, please. Hold, please. I'm all over the
Holding.
place. There are a lot of
Holding.
birthdays.
Okay.
See if this is the one where I found this person. Hold on. I'm going to find this person, Tara, because you have a personal sort of connection here.
Oh, okay.
Sort of. June 8th, ER Fight Master.
Oh.
I forget. Have you met ER or did
Not
you
yet.
just get the
I will
autograph?
meet.
But you got the autograph. But
yeah, well, no,
ER's
we
at
got.
the- That's
no,
right.
We got
No,
the
we got the-
autograph for me at the ACFC game, and then I will be moderating ER's panel at Fan Fusion UK. I think ER is turning 35.
37.
32.
Whoa. They
Born
are-
in
Wow,
1992, right?
They're a youngster.
Yeah, 32.
Wow, I didn't realize that they were that young because
Yeah, I didn't either.
Okay, because Katarina is like a few 3 years older than me, 42, 43. Huh. Okay.
Here's wow, this is kind of surprising. A couple other birthdays are mentioned on June 5th. To me, I will say the greatness of Kathleen Kennedy. A lot of people don't like things she's done, but you know, she's done a lot of stuff. She's leading Lucasfilm, and Kathleen Kennedy is going to be 71.
No.
Oh my God. What is happening? How does this happen?
We just saw her at the Directors Guild Awards.
Did we?
Wait.
I don't think we saw Kathleen Kennedy.
No,
you're thinking about the director of Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Oh.
What's her name?
Patty
You did look-
Jenkins.
Patty
Jenkins.
Jenkins.
Kathleen
Thank
Kennedy
you.
runs
Thank
Lucasfilm
you.
and all
Okay,
that
I was
stuff.
confusing them. They're in the same realm.
71. And by the
Okay,
way, one more connection, sort of. Carl Urban. June 7th. He's going to turn 52.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
So happy birthday,
Carl.
Carl. You did good, buddy. You did good.
He's doing pretty good. The next season of The Boys is out, right? Or coming out?
It's out now or coming soon.
That show I
Yeah.
stopped watching. Just wasn't into it.
I did too. I mean, I liked it all right, but
Not my jam.
And no. One more quick sports note. Dallas Mavericks made it into the NBA Finals, so go Dallas.
Sports.
Playing the Boston Celtics.
Dallas put up their Pride Day. Dallas Mavericks put up their
Thank you, Mavs.
Pride symbol. So go Mavs.
And how's your hockey going?
They lost.
Why the hell do you look so fucking happy, Kat? Why do you ask it like that?
No, you just didn't update us on
How
the
was your hockey going?
I sound like a Muppet? Is that what you're saying?
You know, Kat
How's your
knows that we
hockey
were
going?
beaten last night by the Edmonton Oilers.
Sorry, guys.
It's all right.
I wonder if the
Mavs.
Cowboys are relieved. Like, oh my God.
Thank God. Not
Thank
stress.
God. We won't be the only team not to make it to the finals. We'll only be the only team not to make it to the conference championship.
Past the first round.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll take that. We make it to the conference championship.
That's great.
Seriously.
It's better than
That'll be a
nothing.
win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So go Mavs. Let's go,
Mavs.
Mavs.
Go Mavs,
Yeah. All right.
go. Hey, listen, we've had Anne on hold this whole time. Let's
Sorry.
bring her
Ann.
into the chat. And yeah, let's talk some Cleat Cute. Well, welcome back to our book club, everybody. Summer, sort of spring, I guess. Spring and summer book clubs, our second meeting. Thank you all for being here. We, of
I'm happy
course,
to be
having
here.
us.
Thank you.
of course, yes. Thank you for bringing the snacks. We're of course talking about Cleat Cute. The assignment this week was to read chapters 10 through 20, and as always, we are joined by our resident book critic and Bleeker.
I was wondering where you were going to go with that. I was like, is it going to be bookworm? What is it? What are you going to call me?
Yeah,
I think it's fair to say Anne's the book expert.
Yeah.
Oh
among the
God,
group.
that is a lot of pressure.
Well, you definitely. I know that you read more books.
Yeah,
of
you're the
your
one who
own
reads.
than the three of us have collectively in a few years.
That's fair.
That's being
fair.
very kind, Kat, to us.
So yeah, Anne, welcome back. Thank you as always.
Thank you for having me.
So yeah, let's jump into it. Now, Tara, you have some notes, right?
I
wanna
do.
kind of-
Copious notes.
Copious. That's correct.
Copious. So I've been just writing them in serial killer fashion.
Oh, yes.
right
Wow.
here.
Oh,
in
God.
the book.
Like a manifesto.
It does look a little like a man.
I hope
I've-
the authorities don't find that.
Started here on the back, but I did read ahead a little
It's
bit.
elaborate. Yeah,
But,
Tara's be the overachiever now.
Yes, I am. So yes, I made copious notes, and
Great.
let's start reminding our audience that this book by Meryl Wilsner is about two soccer players of the female variety who are developing feelings whilst playing their beloved sport. So this is kind of a crossover into Snop Sports. I'm wearing my Angel City FC hat today, signed by Ruby Rose. So it's like double gay.
Famous soccer player.
Mhm.
Ruby
Famous
Rose.
soccer player, yeah.
She's my favorite.
Goalie, right?
Goalie, yeah.
Yes.
Goalie, absolutely. So we read through chapter 10 last time, group.
Yes.
So this time, does everyone have their drinks, first of all, that they need? If you
Yeah.
don't, I have some wine.
Water. I just
Is
got
that water and that
Champagne.
made me feel and
Mhm.
champagne? Okay.
Why not wine
Nice.
tumbler with water in it?
What?
Oh, come on.
Wow.
It's
Sick.
still early.
Why you have to say that?
What?
It's
Early.
5:30.
I have to be functioning at some
Wow.
point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some drink shaming there. Fine.
No. I would never drink.
I'll
champagne,
remember
guys.
that. That's
Oh
I
my
thought
God.
you meant you were drink shaming them for not having one.
That's what
No,
that
I'm
sounds
being
like to
drink
me.
shamed.
Oh, well, you and me both. then.
Well, I'm the
I'm
one that
fine
said
with
it's
it.
too early. I never said it's
For
too
me,
early for water.
me.
No,
She wasn't saying it was too early for you.
it's literally 5 o'clock. After 5 o'clock,
Somewhere here.
here,
even.
actually.
Anyway,
Back to the book.
off to a good
Proud.
start.
It's kind of chippy for a Monday.
Well, the book gets a little chippy, I'd say.
Is that what we're
The
calling it?
ladies are a little feisty.
Mhm.
Yeah, not in the same way that we're being feisty. I'd say. I think
No.
it's
No, we
markedly
do not.
different.
No.
So, the last chapter, chapter 9 here ended. Let me flip. I don't know if you can hear my flipping. No, can't hear that. Okay, I have to add that in, Kat.
I'll add that in.
We ended with Grace being jealous about how Phoebe was flirting at the parade, right?
Yes,
Right.
and she shows up at Phoebe's
Right.
workplace at the diner. And then as it becomes clear that Grace is exhibiting some symptoms of jealousy, she flees. She then flees the building and leaves a large tip. So that's where I believe we ended. Let me just see. Yeah. So hold on here. Let me go find my notes. Okay. So with that, it's kind of awkward at that point. So there's the whole, are we going to talk about this? And essentially Phoebe, who is not one to shy away from this type of stuff, texts Grace to meet to say like, hey, I'm like a dog. I got to move around. You want to meet me at the stadium. Right. I believe that is
to just like burn off some energy, kick some balls around.
Right. Those were the words used, to kick a ball around.
Yeah.
So then we go into this next chapter, and they meet up at the stadium. They're alone. It's nighttime. Very romantic. Grace walks upon Phoebe laying, quote, spread eagle in the middle of the field. Get your minds out of the gutter. She's just laying there after she'd done some laps.
Yeah, Wendy, it was nothing salacious. Gosh, you're such a horn dog.
You know me.
But so they, do some chit chat, and Grace says, come on, you got to follow me. I'm going to show you where the balls are.
Right.
And Phoebe was like, okay, that's innocent enough. So they get the balls. They start kicking the ball around.
Nope. Pause.
What?
Oh.
There's a moment there that's kind of important because she, I always get them confused. Phoebe is like in her phone while they're at the ball, whatever.
Yes.
And Grace is like, oh, she's probably fucking texting that girl. And like, she's already jealous again.
And she told me that her phone died. So what is she doing?
Yeah. And she kind of gets snarky, and she's like, can you put your phone down for like 2 minutes? And she's like, sorry, I was just jotting down where to find the balls next time so I don't forget.
Ooh. Burn.
That was
and Grace
very
is like,
telling, because
Take
it was
that,
like,
Grace.
Yeah. So then they go to kick the balls around, and things get a little feisty. Right now they're just bumping bodies. They're playing physical, playing rough, doing some practicing. Some items of clothing start coming off just little bits because it's like hot, Of
course, yeah.
If you're getting hot, you're all feisty. And essentially it comes to a point where Phoebe says, hey, do you want to talk about what happened when you fled the other day about being jealous? And Grace says, no, I don't want to talk about it. So they go back to they're in the locker room now. This is where it all gets a little out of sorts for me, because
before that too, though, she's like, do you want to place another like bet that like I get here on time? And they kind of playfully bet that like, sure, if you, Grace says, if you get here on time tomorrow, I'll braid your hair.
Yep.
Oh,
yep. Right. Well, that's very sweet.
Sweet and hot.
Yeah. Yes. So she's like, okay, fine. So how do we get from this? How do we accurately describe how it goes from one place to the next?
I think if we have Wendy read it, it would probably be the best way.
And I would, but I don't have the printed word.
We
have the book on tape.
Right.
So
let me copy and paste some texts to you.
That's all right. I'll let y'all do it. Y'all have the track record of excelling at this type of thing. Well, after you work out, you got to go to the locker room, right?
Of course.
Nice natural stop, and then you gotta
just take your stuff off.
Yeah, take off your clothes.
Yeah.
How that goes.
As one does.
So essentially, Grace is thinking a whole lot. There's like a half page here about Grace thinking, because this chapter is from Grace's perspective, where she's saying essentially to herself, it says Grace should say goodnight. She should go home early, get as much sleep as she can to prepare for tomorrow. Since she was 16, yes, you got to be responsible. She spent her entire life controlling herself. But instead, she leaves her keys in her locker and walks over to Matthews.
Oh, interesting.
Grace, you know what you're doing, Grace.
Matthews doesn't seem to notice Grace's approach until she's right in front of her. Oh, Grace. Grace steps closer. And Matthews leans back, making space for Grace to put one knee on the bench on either
space.
side of her hips. This
Space.
escalated quickly.
Very rapidly.
This is when Wendy was in traffic.
She tosses her phone aside without looking to see where it lands. Grace wraps her arms around Matthews' neck. And Matthews says, I thought we weren't talking about it. And Grace asks, who's talking?
Yeah, there was not a lot of talking.
No. Then there are, let me check my notes here. 10 pages of sex.
Okay.
Yes. So yeah, it goes on for 10 pages. I'm not sure. There's some straddling. They're on the bench. Yeah, for a lot
There's
of it.
Hands.
There's more betting.
Places.
I really feel like Phoebe might have a gambling problem because she says, I bet I can make you come first. Okay.
Right.
Even that. At that point, I'd be like, shut up. Like, no. Like, okay. You know what? Now it's a turn off.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried.
Phoebe does talk a lot.
He does
even
talk
during
a lot.
sex. And
Yeah. You know, which is fine, but like, it's like, even for me, I'm like, oh my God.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's distracting, is what
it
it
is. I think
Yeah.
so.
There's like certain parts that I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, oh my God.
But here it was like a nervous, I think it was like a nervous chatter. Because later on there's talking and it's hotter than it is here.
Sure.
Like the talk is more dirty talk. And here it's more just like
Some dirty
what the
talk
fuck is happening. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. But I feel like that kind of, continues a little bit. It's kind of dirty talk and kind of like unnecessary. Just
yeah,
like,
I think it shows like her awkwardness and her youth.
okay. Yeah. Okay.
And like just how like she's scattered.
Yes.
And I think we see an evolution as we go on.
Yes, the
In
dirty
the
talk gets
scene?
more succinct.
It gets more sophisticated.
Sophisticated. Okay. I maybe there's just two types of people who like to talk, like have dirty talk during sex, and people who don't. And I think Phoebe does, and Grace is sort of like kind of putting, it sounds like Grace is kind of putting up with it. She's
Yeah.
like,
Grace
okay,
just should have
fine.
said, just stop talking.
She's not. I think she does at one point. I think she does. Like, are we going to talk? Or are we going to do
Right.
this? And
Yeah,
I think
you're right. Yeah,
that kind of helps rein in it a little bit. But Grace does mention that. Not
I
only
think
to
there's a little bit
herself-
of like put your money where your mouth is. Like
right,
just use your mouth for other things kind of
right, exactly.
talk.
Put
I
it
think
to
she
better
says that.
use or to some such
Yeah.
degree. So they have sex for just the rest of that chapter, and then it goes into the next chapter, into chapter 13 here. Continues. They switch locations.
Yes.
Right.
So now they've gone from the bench to the shower.
Right.
You got to
Right.
shower.
And so
Other things.
yeah.
She Phoebe is like, have you changed your stance on casual sex? And Grace is like, because when the sex is that good, it seems like you should. And Grace is like, I didn't say it was that good. And during the not so good sex, which was totally good, when she moves her legs, she kind of like hisses a little bit.
Right.
And Phoebe clocks that like, what's going on?
Yep. So the shower sex continues for 5 pages.
So we're at 15 pages of sex so far. Is that
yes.
okay?
Yeah. At the time.
Right. So if you were wondering, I mean, maybe that if you haven't started the book, that's maybe a little incentive for some folks. So at the end, when all is said and done, after they're done in the shower, and Phoebe's talking some more, and Grace is like, "Okay, enough." Then Phoebe says, "So what about that hip? What's going on with your hip?" Noticing again, like Anne said, that she kind of winces and essentially Grace tries to blow it off saying, it's nothing. I'm just getting older. I'm so old. This is when that comes in. Grace is really like, just the aches and pains of growing old.
Being 26 is rough.
Yeah, that's what Phoebe goes, you're 26, you're hardly ancient. And I think we talked about that last week because I had read ahead and I saw that point. And so, yes, that's where she says, you're 26, you're hardly ancient. These are not normal aches and pains. Right? So she says, you need to see the trainer. Grace says, no way. They're just going to sit me out over blow. You know, it's going to just, something's going to be made of nothing. And Phoebe uses her wiles and says, well, if you like what you got today, I don't think I can give you any more until you see the trainer. To sort of add some incentive.
Well, blackmail never hurt anybody.
So that's how they kind of wrap that up. And Grace is like, okay, yeah, whatever. So they go to the next chapter. We're at chapter 14 here. This is the first day that the rest of the team arrives. So this whole night they've had kind of the space to themselves a little bit. But now
it's a good thing none of the other team members showed up a little early.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're in a locker room.
Or like a groundskeeper or a
janitor,
janitor.
custodian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dodged a bullet.
I'm pretty sure that that's exactly what Phoebe did. I think at earlier chapters, she showed up earlier. Grace was there early, like to practice, and they met up at that point too.
Right.
So, risky business. But chapter 14, everyone gets there, including Gabby Rodriguez, who was the other rookie that Phoebe played with when she was training with the U.S. women's national team over the summer. So they recognize each other. Big hug. And then again with the betting, Phoebe says to Gabby, I bet you I win Rookie of the Year. And Gabby's like, ha ha ha, no, it's okay. Yeah.
Maybe
so
seriously, Gamblers Anonymous is going to be a twist.
I mean, I get it. Like, it helps motivate her, I guess, but I'm a little worried this is going to escalate.
We're going to go to Vegas and she's going to lose everything. She's going to lose the house.
Is she going to be cut from the team for illegal betting?
She's
legal
on her own
betting.
games. Oh my God, you're so right. Okay, so here we come in with the promise that's made from the previous night by Grace to braid Phoebe's hair. So Phoebe kind of forgets about that a little bit, and then but it's happening. And there is a quote in here that's very relatable for all us soccer or really any sports people growing up that might have had long hair, where, you know, Grace is kind of going into why she braids hair, why it's important, why she wants, you know, why she's been doing this for so long. She says, when I was 9, my coach told the team that if we missed a play because we were pushing our hair out of our faces, that we would be benched for the next game. That was relatable to me because growing up, I never knew what to do with my hair. I don't know if you've heard of the pre-wrap. That's what they call it. I don't know if they still call it that, but it's like the pre-ankle wrap. Well, girls would use it. They'd cut it and use it as a hairband. And so it's like stretchy. So then you put it on and you push your back, it would push your hair back or hold your hair back. Well, my hair's so thick, that never really worked all the way for me. So it was very stressful for me to think how I could get my hair to stay back. So this whole braiding thing really hits home for me because it is a triggering way now that not I would say triggering because now I wear like almost always like braid the front of my hair to keep it my bangs from being in my face. So I get the stress of that.
Okay.
And I just find it funny. There's a few quotes in here that are like, oh wow, I experienced that firsthand. So yeah,
and this is also like Grace opening up, right? Because Grace is really kind of like keeps to herself with her feelings and doesn't really reveal a lot about herself. But she's like, you know, we kind of have like this tender moment where she's got her hands in her hair and she's there just having this moment.
Yes. And while they're braiding, while she's braiding Phoebe's hair, they start to have a nice conversation, and Phoebe kind of gets her to open up and realize, I think she said something along the lines of, she asks about the hip again. And Phoebe says, you know, this isn't just about you. It does concern all of us. And why wouldn't you want to be your best self and get the rest that you need? And, you know, you are letting your team members down more by not getting this checked and potentially not playing your best. And so this is the first time Grace kind of realizes on her own, well, maybe I should go see the trainer. And again, I put in quotes here, aging. The word aging is used so much. It's just the aches and pains, aging. Once you're 26, you're decrepit. It's all falling apart.
But also it's the big, like, we're opening
at this point.
Yeah,
Yes.
but we're opening up that commentary about like everything that is going on in women's sports right now, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
it goes on in men's sports as well, but like we're hearing about it more with like these ACL injuries and like a lot of these career-ending injuries, and it's it's a huge problem.
Yeah. And it does put so much pressure on to not say anything because, like this book also explores, the women aren't paid very much if you're not on that national level. A lot of them have second jobs. So to say that you're injured, it's a big risk that you could be replaced. And yeah, it'd be scary. And I think that's one thing that did bother me a little bit about Phoebe. I get where she's coming from, but I also don't think she hasn't really wisened up to that whole fact yet about why she can't really conceive why she wouldn't want to go to the trainer. So that's tough for me. She's pretty firm in that stance.
Right.
I like this quote where she says, how many times does Grace have to say she's not injured? There's a difference between an injury and aging. She's been hurt before, tore her ACL when she was 19. She can still remember the audible pop when her foot stayed planted instead of turning with her leg. That's what an injury is, sudden and jarring. Aging, on the other hand, is a slow simmer, like a frog in a pot of water, not realizing it's boiling until it's too late.
Dark.
Yeah.
Wow. Word. True relatable. Well, I didn't realize how over the hill I was at 26. Falling apart. It's all right. But then you have to remember she started when she was 16. So it has felt like a lifetime for her. And she probably can grasp how little time she has left as compared to how much time she's been there.
Mm-hmm.
So then we get to the first day of crew practice. Which is the New Orleans crew, the team's name. One thing we learn is that after Phoebe and Gabby decide that they're going to hang out, they go back to like this dorm apartment thing that they both live in. And they go to Gabby's place, and Gabby has a bi flag hanging there. Mm-hmm. And Phoebe says, I didn't know you were bi. And Gabby says, oh, I'm not. I'm just a really big ally. Like very flatly. Yes. Phoebe's like, this seemed odd, but I'm not going to say anything. It was like, no, duh. Yes, I'm bi. That would be very strange to just have an enormous flag in my house. No, I mean, thank you to anyone out there listening that just has, like the bi flag specifically.
Right. Very specific.
Right. So yeah, that's one thing we learned about Gabby, that she's also bi, and Phoebe's like, oh, how did I not know this? She's not realizing she's kind of in her own head a lot.
Yeah.
Right? And she has decided that she's not going to flirt with Gabby. She could. She's not going to.
Good for you.
She could totally hit that.
She's
but she's
growing.
Not going to.
Yeah. Hit it or quit it.
Yeah. So
it's very mature of her.
Very mature. Yeah. So they have their practice. I think there's some talk in the locker room. And whenever they go to the locker room, there's a lot of reminiscing by either Phoebe or Grace about what happened in the locker room. Like quick kind of side comments of like, oh, I remember when she was like spread out over that bench over there.
Well, and they're kind of avoiding each other, right? Like they're giving each other glances, but like not letting each other catch on. And Phoebe's like, in her head, and she's just like, she can't even really tell if Grace is really out or not.
Right.
Like if other people know, I think we established that her family knows, but like, do other people know?
Right. And at that point, I think in the locker room or when they're around the team, it does come out that Grace has showed Phoebe around town, and essentially one of the other teammates are like, oh, where are you going to take her next? So no one's really caught on, as far as you can tell. It all seems pretty innocent still.
Yeah.
No, but they do seem a little shocked that, like, wait, Grace took you around town? Because it sounds like she keeps to herself a lot and that she's like, not, like, real social.
Right. You're Grace's friend? Like, you guys did, you know? Okay. Yeah. So that is a big step for Grace as well. And so they decide that Grace needs to take her on the ferry. So Grace says, I'll take you on the ferry. I didn't know New Orleans had a ferry. I mean to Google all this. It, like, goes to an island or something that's 5 minutes away.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I don't know.
I mean, they have like those.
We could have gone on a ferry in New Orleans.
Water and...
We could have,
Yeah. So they meet up. So Grace is like trying to play it cool. So Phoebe's like, "Can we go tomorrow?" Grace is like, "Thursday."
Chill out.
Whoa.
Chill out.
So then, we're in chapter 16 where they go on their ferry boat trip.
Very friendly ferry boat trip.
Very friendly ferry boat
during
trip.
the sunsets.
Yeah.
Totally not a date.
Yeah,
yes.
Just friendly.
Yeah. So while they're out on the ferry boat, the water's twinkling, and Grace suggests, like, oh, hey, well, when we get, what you call it, like Algiers?
I think,
Algiers. She goes, when we get over there, name I can't pronounce. Algiers. We should get dinner. Do you want to have dinner? She was like very casual. She's like, hey, when we get over there, where do you want to have dinner? This place or that place?
Right.
And chapter 16 is where things get a little more real here. Mm-hmm. They have some different conversations that I enjoyed. And Phoebe gets kind of quiet, and Grace notes that that's a little
unusual.
Different.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So she's like, oh, shit, did I say something wrong? And that's when Phoebe says, and I think it's kind of nice because Grace is thinking in her head, like, oh, no, I've said something wrong. I don't know what it is. I'm just going to ask her. And then as soon as she's thinking that, Phoebe goes ahead and says, you know, you're not really that aware of, like, what your team is going through, are you? Something to that effect. And Grace says, oh, what do you mean? And she says, you know, it seems innocent to you, but most of us, we have to have second jobs. I don't have a second job for fun. Right. We're barely making it. We can't do like impromptu dinners. Like, I had some mac and cheese prepared at home. I think she says, like, you know, you can't just throw dinners out. I can't pay for that. And Grace is like, well, I'll pay. No biggie, you know. And Phoebe's like, that's not the point. Thank you. I'm not going to say no. But that's not the point. We don't all have sponsorships, and we don't all have this, you know.
Yeah.
And she kind of reveals a little bit, you know. She's like, I've got stuff I need to save for. Teddy is having top surgery. I need to help with that. It's not covered by my parents' insurance. We need to have a backup plan. So yeah, I think that was interesting. What do you guys think
about
that
moment? As far as, like, it was kind of real. Like, I feel like I've been on both sides of that with.
Oh yeah.
Someone who has more money than you, and they're like, oh, let's just go out to this restaurant for dinner, and you're like, okay, I'll have salad and water, right. You know, or you're
and then they want to split it with you, right?
Yeah,
right.
It's like 5 wines.
No,
right.
Yeah.
And it's
so I thought it was like a real moment where, like, you're Grace, you've made it, you got sponsorships, you've been playing for 10 years, and I'm new, and I don't have money, I'm a waitress, you know.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good moment.
No, I did too. It was a little dose of reality, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I love that the show Friends had a whole episode on this. Yeah, remember that where was like a Phoebe and Joey.
Phoebe, Joey, and I think Rachel.
Right. Oh yeah, and Rachel.
3, yeah.
Yep. And the other friends had high-paying jobs. They could go out. They're like, oh, let's go to this concert. No, let's go. And they're like, we can't do that, you know. So, and it's not, I think that she did a good job of essentially telling Grace, like, look, I don't want your pity. I don't want you to feel like you have to, like, pay for everything, but also, like, just be aware of that, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, and she also did it, like, in a really nice way. Yeah. And it was like, you know, you're not very self-aware. This is not a cut down. I'm just like, you know, and she really seemed to take it to heart. Like, it was kind of like a wake up moment for her. And it's just, it's kind of interesting that it's like, nobody had ever done that before.
She wasn't used to hanging out with rookies.
Well, this is true.
That's true.
People with, you know, she's probably, well, it sounds like she spent a lot of time by herself, or probably with older, more established people.
I think that might be it too, that she's been doing that for a long time. And like you said, she doesn't get out much. She doesn't. And then the conversation shifts to more Phoebe kind of wondering, is Grace out? What's the deal here? And, let me go to that page. Essentially, she asked, well, when do you know, like when you were queer? When did you know when you were queer? And Grace responds with, well, who says I'm queer? And it was meant more like, in a way, I assume
like a joke, right?
a joke. It was a joke. Yeah, like,
well,
like how just because I had sex with you that one time or 2 times or whatever doesn't necessarily mean that. And again, Phoebe becomes quiet, and that is different for her. So let me say. I think should I just maybe read this? I think I have this.
Do it.
So Grace laughs. So she says, "Who says I'm queer?" And Phoebe says, "Oh my God, you cannot be one of those people who thinks queer is a slur. Like I'm going to walk out of this restaurant and leap into the river if you say that to me right now." Grace laughs, says, "No. But I did have to get you back for joking about the ferry ride being romantic," because they had a whole back and forth about, Grace is like, "It's not a date." And Phoebe's like, "Oh, it's so romantic." So that was supposed to be a little tease back, right? So like one of the only times Grace really teases back, it's like, ugh, no wonder she doesn't ever tease. Okay. So Phoebe blinks, her face has gone slack, and Grace wonders if there's something in her teeth and says, "You okay there, Phenom?" And Phoebe shakes her head quickly and says, "Yeah, sorry. I was just really thrown by the possibility that you had bought into turf rhetoric about queer. It's really important to me as a word that includes trans people in my community." And Grace said, "Of course," immediately embarrassed that she joked about it. "I also like it because it doesn't tell anyone too much about your business." Obviously, as Grace grimaces, wishing there was a better word. But celebrity of sorts, there are parts of my identity I want to keep to myself, and very few people need to know what specific label fits me best. And then Phoebe goes on and says, "Lesbian is important to me. The word likes to act like it's a porn category, not an identity. It took me a while to realize that it wasn't. I want other girls like me to know it's a beautiful word." And then Grace goes into something interesting, a memory that she has that kind of almost triggers her, because she has a clear memory of seeing 2 women holding hands and thinking, "I hope I'm not a lesbian." And saying it felt like a betrayal of who she is, even though she was about 7 at the time and it wasn't her fault. And so Phoebe's just saying, she's been out since she knew what a crush was, and would always tell people, "I'm never going to have a crush on a boy," and people would try to kind of be heteronormative about it and say, "Oh, wait till you're older." So they have a conversation about that and those terms and how they're used. So any thoughts on that?
Yeah, just a nice personal conversation between the 2 of them, talking about their past, talking about how they feel about being in the queer community. It's just like they're getting to know each other. And again, it's a nice dose of reality of like, there's people in our community who have a hard time using the word lesbian because it has had such a negative connotation to it in the past. And it's like, no, we got to take that word back. It's us. It's who, if you identify as lesbian, then you should be able to use the word and not feel weird about it.
Right.
Yeah. And I like how they do mention both that the word queer, it does encompass, more than, gay, just saying you're gay. Like a lot of people to say, sometimes I'll just say, "Oh, I'm gay." But really, when you think about it, it means technically different things, right? Mm-hmm. But we kind of lump everything together. So queer, I agree, is almost an easier way to say I'm in this community, even not putting a specific label on it.
It's a general term.
Yeah, which I also like because to me, I personally use the word queer more than anything else. But I also like that she says, talks about the word lesbian. So it's not like you have to pick one or the other. That I don't think, but Did you guys have any memories growing up like that you're like, oh no, I hope I'm not one of those? Because
of course,
they're getting
of course, 100%,
absolutely,
yeah,
because you knew it was going to be really hard,
right?
Because you're hearing how people are talking, and you're like, oh
well,
no,
it's the way they're saying it too, right? It's like you didn't. Well, there were times when it's like I didn't even really understand what the words meant, but the way people were saying it, it was like, well, it can't be great,
right?
Right.
Like we had like one gay bar in the town that I grew up in, and it was a gay men's bar.
Mm-hmm.
And the way people would be like, oh, that's Sherlock's over there, which is a great name.
That's a great name for a bar.
I totally want to go. But it was like, it made me be like, what is Sherlock's? Like, tell me more, right? And I just remember people being like, oh, it's a gay bar. It's like, fruity bar, or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like just even how the word queer has like had its ups and downs. Like I remember my dad texting me once and he was like, is queer a bad word? Like, is it okay to use now? He's like, because I thought queer was bad. Like you couldn't say queer.
Like, oh, are you one of those queers? Or are you?
Yeah,
and it can almost used in that.
Yeah, and it's kind of like dyke too. It's like the way it's used really depends on, are you calling someone like, oh, look at that dyke over there, right? Or you're like, come on, you dykes, let's go. It's like, let's go, lesbians.
It's all the intention, right?
Yeah,
it's in the intention. I remember growing up. And like during recess, we played a game called Smear the Queer.
Smear the Queer, yeah.
Do you guys?
Yeah.
No.
Tara, this is a no. Wendy, do you remember that game?
No.
Smear the Queer.
Yeah.
Basically, somebody was it, and you had to like chase after them and tackle them.
Just tackle them.
And at
someone
the time,
was the queer.
Yeah,
they called.
Yeah.
And it didn't until I was much older. It didn't occur to me like, oh wow, they're pretending to chase down and beat up a gay person.
Yeah, it's like very predatory,
right? Oh,
it's
boy.
just like a really aggressive tag. But the fact that that's what it was, like basically let's chase down the queer person and you're not beating them up, but like it's basically them. What you're mimicking, right?
You push them down, basically.
You're smearing them. That's terrible.
It's mob mentality.
Yes.
Geared at queer people. Yeah, we totally played that game.
Yeah, I was pretty good at it.
We should bring it back. I think it would really go over well in today's climate.
It'd be really fun.
But instead, only queers play it, and it's like Jello wrestling, and you smear it all over each other, right?
I'm trying to think of how old I was.
I mean, maybe.
I don't. Yeah. We didn't do that, but I was of the generation where you're so gay. Everything was gay.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. Gay.
That's so gay.
Well, and
I guess that was around for a while, but I don't remember anything besides that.
And guys, making fun of other guy friends, calling them fags. Like, this is clearly, but it became just like normal vocabulary. Like, at the time, it didn't feel like a big deal, but then when you realize you are one of those, you're like, oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah. So they had that part of the conversation, and then the food arrives, and then Phoebe's just like totally distracted. She's like, holy shit, this looks so good. So Grace is internally thinking, okay, well, the food's here. She's distracted now. I could easily move on to a different topic. Mm-hmm. But I feel like she's opened up, I'm going to trust my gut. So Grace listens to her gut, and she shares some information. Shall I read this passage, or does someone else have it available if they'd like to read it on page? Well, I don't know what page it is for you, honestly. Grace's coming out story.
Is it the Christmas one?
Yes. 'Tis a Christmas story.
Mine's digital, so it doesn't give me pages. It tells me. Oh, I came out at Christmas when I was 18, she says. My little sister Harmony had come to me asking for advice about coming out as pansexual to our parents. I had zero advice. I had known I was gay for a couple of years by then, and I hadn't figured out how I was supposed to come out. But I wasn't going to let Harmony do it by herself, all alone, not knowing how they were going to respond. No. I told her I'd go first if she wanted me to, because she'd still have to live in their house for a few more years. I mean, not that we thought they'd kick her out, but you never know. Better safe than sorry. So I came out. And as my parents were telling me they loved me, Harmony shouted that she was pan. It was an eventful holiday. She's like, I'll take the bullet for you, right? Like, we'll see how they respond to this.
To me.
And if it's bad,
Yeah.
then just don't come out.
Then zip it.
Just wait a little bit.
Abort.
Yeah.
Negatory Ghost Rider.
Yeah, how Grace says, I'd known I was gay for a couple of years by then. So using that word gay, do you guys use that to describe yourselves, or just in,
Sure.
generally more,
Gay?
because some people are very, I know some people are very, try very hard not to do that, or like it's not, but I use it interchangeably. So I don't know.
I think I use gay more than lesbian.
Yeah,
And I think I
Me
say
too.
queer. I think I say gay and queer more than lesbian.
Me too. And it's not intentional. I don't know. Just as those words have, especially queer now, I feel like that's becoming more normal feeling for me to say, especially to be more sort of like all inclusive. But what do I know? I don't know. Nothing.
You know a lot of
Literally
things, Tara.
nothing.
Don't talk about my friend like that.
Is that from the Handsome podcast?
I think so. It was
Yeah, okay. That's
original.
because on the way back from Arizona, we were listening to that, and I was like, "Kat says that to me all the time."
But I like it.
I definitely
Yeah.
got it from somebody else.
Okay.
I was using it before.
Cut that out. We don't need to tell people we don't use original material.
We wrote that ourselves.
Thank
You, Tig.
I think my friend Allie used to say that. Anyway, doesn't matter. It's a great podcast, everybody. Listen to Handsome.
It was.
I thought you were
fun. It was
saying
fun.
Hanson.
No, yes,
Sounds
the
like something you'd
Hanson.
listen to.
No,
Handsome.
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 Yes.
Stay handsome.
So that was good. So Phoebe recognizes that and says, "That's the cutest fucking coming out story I've ever heard." Seriously, like noble and shit. What a good older sister. So I think Phoebe really appreciates and takes notes, and I do like how the author made a point to show how Grace had to make that conscious decision to share something personal, because a lot of times that is very difficult, and especially if you're the type of person that doesn't share very much, and then you have to make a decision. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and keep moving forward and keep this about me and share something, because sometimes you're just not comfortable kind of being in that that spotlight per se in general to feel like, maybe I don't want to keep talking about myself or something. But so having to make that decision is not easy. So it, that was, I liked how they made a point for that.
There's a moment too where Phoebe starts talking about different people in the public eye that she saw, that she says, plus like Brianna Scurry was a little old for me, but I remember what it was like when I was barely a teenager and Abby Wambach came out. My family had never made me feel like being a lesbian was going to hold me back or anything, but it was different to actually see someone like me doing what I wanted to do. Ever since then, it feels like women's soccer has gotten more gay, and I, for one, am here for it.
Yeah.
Which is true. And it's like, I don't remember seeing gay people. Like, I remember seeing like more gay men that I was aware of. Like, I loved Greg Louganis. But yeah, it's just, it's nice that like there are a lot more role models for people now to just see in the public eye. And
and I like where this came from too. They started talking a little earlier about, Phoebe's like, I'm gay and I'm loud and I'm obnoxious. That's just my brand. Like I'm out and proud. And Grace is obviously more reserved and says, my brand is who I am as a soccer player, not a person. I don't like strangers thinking they know me. And she has a nice thought about Phoebe. It says, Phoebe is a class clown until you realize how hard she works. So some might think that, it's kind of all a facade, but she works hard for what she's gotten. But, I think that that's really important that she does, bring that to the forefront about how those people, especially, and me too, they talk about the 1999 soccer team. So that's the Brianna Scurry team. And seeing them, I think I was like 14 or 15 at that time. And I remember being right around that age. I knew all my crushes were girls. And, but, just seeing that and thinking, oh, and I also had that quote here in my textbook circle that
annotations
that you read, Anne, because I was like, that is exactly it. Because what she says was, my family had never made me feel like being a lesbian was going to hold me back or anything. So I won't say family, my mother, I will say some other family, totally made me feel that being a lesbian would hold me back in life, and literally saying, you can't let people know that. They're going to disown you. You're never going to get a job. How are you going to get a job? As soon as they find that out, they're going to fire you they're going to find some reason to fire you. You can't, oh my God, this is like the worst thing ever. I don't want this for you. This is going to ruin your life. So that's what you hear. So even for a person that wasn't told that, how important it was to see that. Think about all the kids that did hear that, and how powerful that was to see.
For sure.
And like people and it's okay. It's not the end of the world.
Right. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
You just got to get out of where you are maybe. And,
move.
But like things are better.
Yeah. Things get better. Right.
Yeah.
And it's such a dichotomy too, between Phoebe and Grace, where Phoebe's, loud and proud all the time. And Grace isn't not out. She's just quieter about it. And it's not like public. And Grace's platform is larger. And so it's that weird situation where it's like, just because you have a big platform and you're a celebrity, is it on you to do these things that maybe don't make you comfortable for the greater good of other people, right? To make the path easier for people behind you. And I don't know what the right answer is, because it's like, I wish there would have been more for me, but I totally understand people, they have the right to be scared and frightened and not willing to take that leap.
Right. And want to be private, and some celebrities are very private, and then others are more vocal about things. And that's, I hate when I see that I'll just play soccer, I'll just play basketball, when someone is standing up for something that they believe in. And I think it just makes no sense to me. I think people should be able to say whatever they want to say, and that, so especially in sports, when we're not here to listen to what you have to say. Oh my God, happy Pride Month, because every post on Twitter from every company and every sports team have rainbow logos. I'm not going to hate on it, whatever, because just for this exact point, like, somebody needs to see it. Some NASCAR fan out there needs to see in some country bumpkin town where they are gay and they know they might be killed for coming out. Some country bumpkin needs to see the NASCAR symbol rainbow this month. Okay. So somebody out there, yes, it's a money grab for many, but some people need to see it. So, but all you see under it is, not all, but you see a lot of hate. They get a lot of likes, but also a lot of hate.
Don't scroll down.
But it's also, it just reiterates how important it is that if you are willing to do this, that it can be very powerful. It doesn't mean you should have to, but that when you do, that it does mean something, and it's not just that person, trying to get attention, or, but that it does.
And even if it's easier for some people than others, it's still really brave for anyone to do, like to put themselves out there, and open themselves up to criticism.
Because it absolutely has
changes
killed
lives.
some careers, especially in the country artists, right? Or NASCAR when they took those Confederate flags away, you'd think NASCAR was just going to fall apart, but
right.
They made it through.
Somehow.
They somehow don't fly the Confederate flag and everything's okay, but...
Well, and, after Ellen came out, she couldn't get a job. Nobody would hire her. And I think it was Finding Nemo is what got her back in sort of good graces with people. Yeah, and there was, country star that... I think it was Shelley Wright. I have to look her up, but she came out as lesbian. Yeah, there's a really good documentary. I always mix her up with another person, but about her coming out story in the country community. And of course, everyone in the forefront's like, oh, congratulations, so proud of you. But then, she never really she never had a career after that, at least in that. But now, she's made it her mission to go around and talk to kids and about her story. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yes. Shelley Wright. So there's a lot to unpack in this chapter. A lot happens in this specific chapter 16. Yeah. I kind of wish it was spread out a little more over, because it was just, it was like, we're like, oh, now we're on to that. Oh, yeah, no, these are good conversations. Yeah. But what did you...
Maybe they'll have more good conversations later.
Yeah.
Or are you spoiling something because you read ahead?
No, I'm not. I'm not. It just was, it went a lot of places. So I'm glad it did, Any other thoughts? Chapter 16? Let me flip to my other page here. You find chapter 17, which is the way home from the ferry. So again, Phoebe asks about Dawn if Grace has gone to see Dawn.
Not letting it go.
But no, she's not letting it go.
Yeah, because she totally tries to lean in. Like they both want to kiss, but she's like,
right.
Did you do what you said you were going to do?
That's right. They have a very romantic, guess what? It does turn romantic, the ferry boat.
Weird.
On the way home, it's dark now. Things are twinkling. Yes, there's a near kiss.
Things are twinkling.
Those dang twinkles.
Get you.
What about your hip? You old geezer.
Grandma, did you see the trainer?
I do applaud Phoebe for her consistent, like, you're literally only 4 years older than me. Like, what are you talking about? Phoebe then lets Grace know, hey, I actually have an overnight shift I have to get to. And Grace is like, speaking of no money and my second job, I gotta go to it.
Drop me off at work
overnight. You drop me off at work.
Oh my God.
And she's like, oh, what? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
We have training tomorrow. And she's like, we gotta work, gotta make some money. She's like, I'll sleep after training tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So guess what? She has a hard time. Her hair tie breaks. She can't get there. She barely gets there in time. I hate that.
Rough morning.
Your hair tie breaks and you only have that one. You're like, motherfucker.
So relatable.
Oh, yeah.
Am I right, Kat?
You could put that little top, the big spiky point in a little hair tie.
Little cupie pie.
That'd be cute.
Get a little barrette. So Grace does come to do the braids, right?
So
more
saves
braiding,
the day.
sensual braiding
so
after
nice,
the hair.
though.
Yeah. But the point of this chapter is Phoebe is tired. Phoebe is tired AF. And she's a little grumpy. She's not herself.
Mm-hmm. She's a little quieter.
Multiple people have asked her, like, hey, you're looking kind of, don't you
look
love
like
it?
shit. You okay?
Don't you love it when people say, oh, are you really tired today? And you're like, no, I guess I just look like shit. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you look tired.
Yeah, you don't think I know that?
Or you're
Just
like,
my face.
oh, I'm so tired today.
It's just my face.
Yeah, I'm so tired
said that to
today. And they're
people.
like, oh, yeah, you look tired. Oh, yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Really,
That makes
keep
me
it to
feel
your
better.
fucking self.
Yeah, go
Just be like, oh, I'm
off.
sorry. You don't have to fucking comment on my looks. Jesus. Anyway.
Just say, hey, can I get you a coffee? Like, offer a solution
Oh, I'm
here.
so sorry. Not be like, oh, yeah, girl, you look haggard.
Rough.
Girl,
Rough.
rode hard,
Just wear a
man.
bag over your head.
You'd be so much prettier if you smiled and got a
yeah.
nap.
Oh, God.
Anyway, so she is tired. Let's reiterate that.
Right.
And I had a feeling this was coming. And one of the many people that tell her how tired and haggard she looks or ask if she's okay. And but to a certain point when so many people have asked you like, hey, is everything okay? You're quieter today. You're being tired. That you're like, oh my God, enough.
Yeah.
Right.
Or you say, that's just my fucking face. Like, enough.
Yeah, she's tired. Too many people have commented.
Yeah.
And
Dawn the trainer starting some shit. Dawn walks
Final
up,
straw.
walks up all caring and shit, and she's like, "You're okay there?" And she says, "Well, I'm just tired. I had to work overnight, and but I know Grace has been telling me all day I shouldn't have worked overnight. I get it." And Dawn's like, "Whoa, okay, no problem."
Yeah, well,
I'm sure
Grace was right.
Yeah, I'm sure Grace, is just looking out for your well-being. So, don't worry about it. I'm sorry you're tired. And, well, then Phoebe snaps. She says, oh, yeah, well, Grace, she needs to worry about her own well-being, like that hip. Uh-oh. That wasn't quoted from the book, but that was pretty
close.
Record scratch.
Phoebe, what are you doing?
What the what now?
Come on, Phoebe.
We knew it was coming. We knew it was coming.
Yeah.
It was a bad day. It was bound to happen.
And Dawn was like, what now? And Phoebe's like, what? Never mind.
Nothing.
Just take it back, y'all.
I said, shmam, shmoo. You misunderstood. And Dawn was like, no, go on. So Dawn, at that point, knows what's up. And Phoebe's like,
God damn.
Fuck. Oh, God, yeah. So
but she's like, don't tell her I told you. Please,
Yeah.
promise, pinky swear. Like,
So do not tell her I told you.
Yeah, you heard nothing. This conversation never happened.
Then she slowly backed away.
She was like Homer Simpson in the
bush. Then cut to chapter 18. So that was literally like right at the end of chapter 17. Then we go to 18.
Yeah.
And then it's from Grace's perspective, right?
Right.
And Grace is like, motherfucker, I'm out for 3 to 6 weeks because of my hip. She was just upset. She was upset.
Dawn noticed. I walked funny.
Dawn noticed. How did I let Dawn notice?
Wait, Wendy has entered the chat.
Grace got a little whiny. Why me? It was like,
oh my
God. I
God.
just want to be with my team. Who am I if I'm not with my team? I need to be leading them. It's like 3 to 6 weeks. And it's literally, the season hasn't started yet. Like,
Right.
okay, if you're all screwed up and like y'all are about to go to the playoffs, all right, it's like, it's the best time to be injured. You're not even playing games. You're 26, 3 to 6 weeks, you're back out there. She's like, I need to be with the team. I'm letting everyone down if I'm not there. She was just, why?
This
why?
is
like,
the
great.
first-
She's like, I'm gonna get
Over
replaced. They're not gonna need me anymore.
They don't need me. I'm not going to be missed.
Look, I say that as someone who would probably react the same way. But that's why maybe I was like, just calm down. It's fine.
This
You're
is the
like, you just pet your cat and
You're
relax.
26, right?
yeah.
Take
Hang
a
out with
minute.
Lily the boy.
And this is
boy
the
cat,
first
which-
time
Lily
I
boy.
thought, yes,
Cute.
Lily's about, we'll
Cute.
talk about Lily the boy cat. Very cute. But this is the first time I thought like, ooh, Grace, she's got, maybe she needs to talk to somebody about that.
Some
Because when you
baggage.
start so early in your career, but now you have just think how aware we are of our ages and our everything. And when you start so early in a career and you think you're decrepit by 26, like that really starts to sink in. And almost the entire chapter 18 was Grace internally beating herself up like big time. Like,
But
I'm
it's
I'm worthless. What am I?
Super
Her
bullied.
3
identity.
weeks without, I'm nothing without soccer.
But her soccer is so wrapped up in her identity that it's like, somebody else is going to be the next best thing. they're going to head to this and I'm not going to get to do the World Cup. And then who's going to take my place? And it's just like, she's having like this existential crisis.
She's spiraling.
These are my notes here from chapter 18. Grace out 3 to 6 weeks. Grace comes unhinged.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
As she's on her way to shoot a commercial. Like,
She decides-
whatever will I do? Well, I gotta go shoot this commercial.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And she's
You're
got to
still
like
gonna
kick
be on
a
a Wheaties
ball.
box. Yeah.
Right. She's supposed to rest. That's the whole thing. She's supposed to be resting immediately.
Right. Well, and you're missing the lackluster pizza that she made. She's
Oh,
just
right.
Like,
Because
I
she
don't have
can't do
time to
anything
roll it
Couldn't even do the
out.
crust
Just-
right.
yeah.
Right. The
so
crust is too thick.
distracted.
Well, I can't even eat
Oh,
this.
poor
Who
Grace.
am I?
It's the
Look, I can't even
worst.
make a pizza if I'm not a soccer player.
Oh.
My
That's
life
who I
is
am.
ruined.
Who am I? Some non-pizza making, non-soccer player.
And then she goes to make a commercial.
And then she goes, right. She's like, well, no, because she literally was like, no one will notice. No one notices what I do anymore. Might as well go make the
No, my
commercial.
husband. Listen,
All washed up. Better do it while I
I've
can.
been there, man. I have been there. As a matter of fact,
Oh.
currently.
Too
No,
real.
no.
Meanwhile, like her friends are, being very supportive
Friendly.
and
Sure.
are literally like, it's 3 to 6 weeks.
We'll
like
see you in a couple weeks.
you'll be there
Yeah.
for the first
Enjoy
game
your
of the
time
season.
off.
Yeah, enjoy your
Fine.
time. Feel better.
Pet your cat.
Like everyone gets pet your cat.
Take a pizza
Everyone
class.
gets injured.
Uh,
Yeah. So she films her commercial. Then
Right.
we have practice the next day, I think, which Grace goes to.
she does.
Yeah,
The
well,
team
she's
learns-
got to still show up and be like on the sidelines and pay
Yeah.
attention
Kinda
and all
coaching.
that. Yeah.
Helping
Yeah.
players.
So yes, almost immediately, Grace starts coaching the
Sidelining,
coach,
yeah.
right? Yeah. So of course Phoebe, they're working on like corner kicks, and she's doing some headers into the goal, right? She's tall. She's like the
Very tall.
tallest on the team other than the goalie, so she's
Very
got to be the one to get in there and do the headers. Doesn't matter what height you are, people. You can all do headers. But Phoebe apparently is doing it all wrong. I don't know how. I feel like she's probably done this a lot.
Now all of a sudden she doesn't know what she's doing.
But much like Wendy yelled at my dog once.
Excuse
when
me?
she was when Phoebe was going to do the headers, she was going too soon, and so basically Grace jumps up and says, "Wait, wait, wait, wait! You're going too fast. Patience." And she's like flipping out about it, and everyone's like, "Okay." But yeah,
It's okay.
I was trying. My dog Ro, rest in peace, Ro.
Oh, row.
He was learning the command "wait,"
Right.
and I think Wendy thought she had to say it louder for him to understand.
Right.
But
Clearly, he just can't hear me.
Right.
yes,
he
he's
says
a call. So
bad
we used to
hearing.
have a call back to that. I'm like, wait. The louder you say it, I think is key. But that's what exactly in my mind. That's what I was
That's-
like.
yeah.
That is what
Grace
was
is doing.
happening.
Yeah.
Like, because she couldn't stand her, and then she had to go on to the field. She was like, I can't with this.
I have to put my hands on your hips for this to be effective. Excuse me.
There's no other way
Like,
she
it's
could
the
have
only way
possibly
you can
done
do
just
it.
stand by you. I
Yeah.
have to
No
grab
other
you.
way.
I can't demonstrate it for you.
No.
Because if I just say go, you won't go when I say go. So I have
Right,
to
so I gotta
hold on
hold
to
you.
You're like,
Right.
I'll hold you down and I'll release you.
I'll release you when it's time.
Yeah.
You go when I say wait. That's not okay. So, yes, that is what happened. And then Phoebe's like, oh my God. Everyone has to
Gay
notice
panic.
this, right?
Right.
Yeah, oh my God. But I guess nobody noticed
No,
it.
no.
However, she was banned from coming to practice after that.
She got
Yeah.
kicked out of practice.
Yeah.
Not helping. Not helping.
So after that, Phoebe says, "Hey, they just decide like I'm gonna come over to your place. I'm gonna let's go hang out
let's
at
go eat.
your house.
Yeah.
Let's go eat.
Yeah,
let's
she
go
got
pick up
paid.
some Chinese, right?
She wants to buy her dinner.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you some dinner. She did. She made, she was basically like, I budgeted for this week, one dinner. It's like a good gesture. She knows, like, I can't pay all the time, but I want to,
Nice.
it's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they pick up Chinese. They go back, and this is where Lily the cat comes in. I think Lily made an appearance before this, but then we learn that Phoebe loves cats, so that is a win.
That's
I believe the quote was something like,
in Phoebe's corner.
Angel.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And Lily is named after Christine Lilly from the U.S. Women's National Soccer Team, who had the most appearances, caps, as you call them, in soccer game.
Nice.
And that's from the book. That is not just from my knowledge that I knew. But Lily is a boy. She didn't know it was a boy, apparently. But you got it. So Phoebe, is trying to kind of comfort. She doesn't want to patronize Grace, but she's just like, hey, how are you doing? I don't want to push it too far. And Grace says, I don't want to talk about my hip. And then they have 3 more pages of sex.
But then we won't talk about your hip.
Total up to. Well, they do talk first about that player with the most caps, and if Phoebe is close to catching up to this person.
No, Grace is close.
Grace is close to catching up, and Phoebe's like, "You're gonna pass her, aren't you?" So she's trying to this is temporary.
Right.
You're gonna get back out there. You're still in the running. You're gonna kick this person's record with caps.
Yeah, because Grace pretty much, if I ever go back, if they ever need me again.
And then it was like, just, okay, shut up, stop talking. And then there was some dirty talk and
much more concise, dirty talk.
Yeah. It was a little polished.
Yes. Then we go to, that was the end of 19. So now we're in 20.
Right.
And that chapter opens with 7 pages of sex. And then after the sex, Phoebe's just like hanging around, and I love
what do we do
Grace's this is from Grace's perspective, and Grace is like, Phoebe's not leaving, I guess. So I don't want to walk around the house naked. I'm gonna go that's like so me. I'm like, I'm gonna go why is this person like, what's happening? Like, they're in my house. I just want to be alone now.
Leave, please.
Leave. And then
Grace is so fucking awkward. She needs to relax.
Just won't leave.
It's fine. Just fine.
Yeah. So then Phoebe wants to cuddle, and Grace literally counts to 180. Counts to 180 seconds.
Insane.
And says 3 minutes should be about right.
That seems
How
fair,
long does
right?
one cuddle?
Oh my God.
So then she counted to 180.
1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi.
Hated every second of
Way
it.
to enjoy the moment.
Yeah, they do some cuddling. And eventually Phoebe leaves, but not without Grace's sweatshirt, because
that was very
it's
sweet.
cold out there.
Because she insists on walking 2 miles home. What are you doing?
Right.
Take the ride.
Yeah, Grace
2
like, I'll
miles in
drive
the
ya.
dark.
Like,
New
no.
Orleans. What is
My
happening?
notes ended with dirty talk sweatshirt.
Yeah.
But sweatshirt, that is a pivotal moment in a book when somebody leaves with the other person's clothing.
And I'm wondering if maybe that might come back as well.
Perhaps.
I would.
I'm not.
That's. Yeah, I feel like
I don't
it
know,
probably
but
will.
they did make sure to say that it was like a crew sweatshirt or something.
Right.
It wasn't
Right.
like a distinct
It's a
identifying
sweatshirt
Right.
that
But it's older.
Phoebe wouldn't have been privy
older,
to
right.
because
Faded.
it's older.
Yeah.
It's not
So
this
if I
year's
was like
model.
a busybody teammate, and I'd be like,
I'd be
that
like,
was 2021 sweatshirt model. Where'd you get that?
Where'd you get that, Goodwill?
But Phoebe said, I will wash it before I return it. So maybe she doesn't show up wearing it.
That never happens. You never get your clothes back.
And then I love that Grace said after Phoebe says she'll wash it, and Grace says, that's fine. Grace will rewash it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Does.
She likes the way her things smell, and she has to have a certain smell.
She is so much
just
fun.
She is a good time. She's going to lighten up. She's been through it.
That's true. She is lighting up a little.
She clearly has some things to work through.
She does.
She's not as together as everyone would think.
Exactly. Yeah,
she's got
literally
no reason for being on this planet other than soccer. So she needs to figure that out.
So let's talk spice level.
Okay.
Where are you guys at on the chili pepper scale here? Like how are you rating this spice?
Oh, I mean, there's a lot of. The spice is pretty.
On a 1 to 5 chili pepper Scovilles.
I'd say 4 chili peppers. It's just for me I'm all for dirty talk. For me sometimes the way Phoebe is, I'm also just like, oh my god, just not that. I'm not. That takes me out of it a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, I think 4 seems like fair. That's fair to me. It's a 4 because it's graphic.
It's graphic, yeah,
but it's not like
right. It's descriptive.
Yeah,
it's not it's not salacious. It's not
yet.
There's plot. It's moving it along.
Yeah,
right. There's some callbacks a lot to certain points in the sex, so it is used to push things forward. I'll just say in some, many fanfics have been 5+ that I've read. You know,
I could concur with that as well.
But this, it's definitely not like vanilla or something.
It's not tame.
Yeah, it's not.
Right.
No.
Wendy, what's your opinion?
I'll go with 4. I did a little 30 second here and there, so.
Like jumping forward.
Yeah, a little bit.
She's blushing.
It feels so awkward when people are reading
it
to you. I'm not just sitting there reading a book. They're descriptive voices reading things.
Sure.
Well, they're like,
weird.
Yeah, they're doing
my
horny voices.
They're hearing it on speaker. It's like,
you can't.
Gidget.
You have to keep those pure
You're
ears.
Innocent Gidget.
Poor kitties.
Can't
they don't
subject
know.
them
They don't
to
know.
that.
I'll go with 4.
I would agree. I would say 4.
Okay.
So if you weren't hearing it over your Bluetooth speakers in your car at the corner, worried that somebody else is hearing it, would you like that in a book more? Like if you were reading it with your own voice and it wasn't like kind of silly because people are like,
would you skip it if you were reading it?
No, I'd probably read it if it wasn't being read in
There you go.
voices with their inflections, reading what they're saying, and
I
the
can see how it
moaning.
would feel more like
It's
just like you're
different.
watching like a porn of some kind.
Yeah,
It's like
it
someone.
does.
It almost
does.
seems a little more invasive.
I mean, you
like,
saw me
yeah.
at the con when you guys were reading. I mean, so it's
with our
Just hit her
professional
face.
yeah.
voices.
So I think that it's different. It's like I've never really listened to a book on tape, but in doing so, it's like it's different. Hearing people read the character voices is different.
Yeah.
And the descriptions and things.
Well, and especially when it's one person switching character.
Yeah, like midway
They're
through.
basically just having fake sex with
I
themselves.
know, yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, you
Thought
like
about
that?
that.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh,
yeah.
tell me
Uh-huh.
more. But I like
Yeah.
it when
Where
you
do
talk
you like
about,
it?
I don't know how to please you if you don't tell me.
It's just like that.
I can see why you had to
Just like
fast
that.
forward.
I think I think it was the sex in this particular one of these chapters that was Phoebe was more annoying to me. But where Grace was like, "Oh my god, I just want to see your boobs. Like, stop." And Phoebe was like insisting, like, "No, I have to take care of you." And Grace is like, "No. Like that's it. You've done it. We're moving on."
Yeah.
But at least they're talking about it because
They're
it's like
talking about
you have
it,
two
yeah.
totally different
They
personalities,
certainly are talking about it.
and they don't really know each other.
Right.
So it's like instead of just doing something that the other person doesn't like,
Right.
I guess
But
it's funny because Phoebe is trying to be more like considerate, even though she's
Right.
talking too much. And Grace is like, just scratch the itch.
Yeah.
Right,
Like
just
I
do this.
don't. Yeah. Yeah.
But that's true. Phoebe was checking in as like consent, like, is this okay? Are we doing this? Like, are we going this far? Kind of stuff. But then it's like, okay, we're clearly doing it, so just shut up and do it.
Right. Like I haven't slapped you yet.
Right.
So
Things are going well.
just take that as a positive sign.
I think at one point, when Grace finally was like, "No, we're switching now," like,
Yeah.
and then we're like, "We're going to the bedroom," and then she essentially was aware of how like naked she was and how
Right.
not
Oh.
Phoebe was. She's like, "Oh no," and she had like sprint in there, but. I think that's but I just remember reading it being like, she's told you like 5 times what she wants, and you're doing what you think she wants. She's telling you.
Yeah.
So
But Grace was definitely in her head for a lot of that scene, right? Because she's like,
yeah, she was
thinking about all kinds of stuff.
She was thinking about soccer. She
Of course
was
she
literally
was.
like, while so and so was doing this down there, all I could think about was nobody will care about me anymore. Wow, when am I gonna get
How
back? to
many
soccer?
days have passed of the 6 weeks?
In like 2 days.
Hope that didn't hurt my hip even more.
Yeah.
Right. Should I be clearing this with my trainer?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's definitely not fully present.
Grace
there.
needs therapy.
Yeah, that's okay. That's
It's
good.
okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
All right. So that's it. That was through chapter 20.
Okay.
So next time, I think we're gonna go all in. I think there's
Should we
only
just power through?
Go
Yeah,
all
Yeah,
the
how many
way?
chapters are there?
38, I think.
Oh, I thought there were 32. Yeah, 38. Let's just go all the way through.
do it.
We're going all the
Do
way?
it.
Okay.
All the way.
We'll probably wait 2 weeks, though.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, yeah, we'll come back and do this.
I'm gonna listen to it on my plane
37.
ride home without my earbuds and let
Yeah,
the
you should
passengers
just
listen in
have
with me.
it playing.
Yeah, 37 plus an epilogue. So, okay. Yeah,
Epilogue.
we'll power through.
All right.
Sweet. All right. Well, there you go. But enjoying it, right? And generally enjoying it.
Yeah, I
Fun.
think it's
a
a
good read.
I
it's
read
got a
ahead.
lot
I
of good
was like,
elements.
okay.
It's got the
Yeah.
soccer, it's got the gay, it's got the spice. It's good.
Yeah, it's
good
fun. It's a fun read. It's a good summer beach book.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know.
Now, what would be even maybe more relatable to me, but also more drama, would be if, let's say, Grace was 36 instead of 26.
Interesting.
You like a
Not-
good age gap?
Well, no, I
in
was going to
here?
say if they were both older toward the end of their careers and maybe there was more friction because Phoebe was trying to stay more relevant and did maybe take that opportunity. If Phoebe was 32, you know what I'm saying? Like she's like,
Yeah.
well, oh,
What
shit.
if they
Now
were
she's gone out at
married
36.
and then one had a secret affair with a celebrity and then
Oh,
secretly
boy.
filed for divorce?
Oh, no. Uh-oh. It's gotten too real.
I mean, I've never heard of that happening.
There's your book
before,
right
and I don't
there.
have
Yeah,
feelings
seriously.
on that at all.
Yeah.
Writes itself.
But that's like a whole other set of emotions right there, right?
Yeah, for sure.
This doesn't sound as fun, though.
I love it. I love the spice. I
Right.
love the sports. I love
Yeah.
the gay. It's a good one.
It's a good one.
Meryl
It's
does a
fun.
good job.
They do. They do indeed. And I think I've only read one of Meryl's other books, and it wasn't as spicy as this one is so far. And how does this compare to? Have you read most of Meryl's books?
I have. I think that they only have 3.
Okay.
The other one's spicy. But this one gets spicier.
Sooner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's more spice, like consistent amount of spice in this
Right.
one.
Sporty spice.
Yes, Sporty Spice.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Great.
All right.
Well, thanks, Anne. We'll have you back in a couple weeks.
Anytime. Bye.
Bye, Anne.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
And we're back. Thanks again to Anne Hicks-Bleeker for again, she is like a book expert, and she's leading us through this book, and it's been great.
Yeah.
I mean, is this gonna be a regular thing? Are we gonna do another book after this one?
I don't know. I think we should do the Casey. It's Casey McQuiston. It's called Last Stop. It's like a lesbian sci-fi. They meet on a subway and time travel. I have it.
Cool.
I just haven't read it yet.
Okay.
It's her first book. She did the Red, White, and Royal Blue, the gay love story with the prince, but that would be my suggestion maybe to do.
Okay. Cool.
I'd be down for that. I'm actually going to read this time, not listen.
Okay. Very good. All right, cool.
But if anyone has any other suggestions, let us know. We can't read your mind. You gotta email us.
We can barely read a book.
We can't even crack a book.
Do that. Let us know if you have any book recommendations for our next selection of the Snop Summer Book Club. Real quick, guys, grab something to drink. We're getting in the truck. We got to go to Purgatory.
She Nerds Out presents Live from Purgatory.
And we're here. Guys, Cat Brow had her baby. Congratulations.
Should I get her a baby cover?
Yeah, get her a pride baby cover.
Any baby covers over there?
Texas Rangers pride baby
What do you do with it? You just lay it over the baby? I don't get it.
I don't know.
Uh-huh.
The baby's name is Celeste Monique Burrell Galetti.
Wow.
And everyone's
Fancy.
happy and healthy. So congratulations to Kat and her family. And she did, in fact, after having the baby, go to the awards ceremony for the Canadian Screen Awards.
Trooper.
Woman cannot be stopped. So
yeah. And on Instagram, love that the picture has
it's so cute.
the Ray and her hands, and then her two babies, and then her other baby, Bernie's paw.
Aw.
The
Very
whole
cute.
family. I love that. That's really sweet. So yes, we're sending Kat and her family so much love and congrats. And, it's a big deal. So
Cat, take some time. Rest up. Enjoy.
yeah, take it easy.
Yeah.
No
then,
one will
yeah.
forget about you.
No,
Have a life outside of acting.
It's so true. No
You
one
might
will.
be out
And-
for 3 to 6 weeks with a hit,
Yeah.
but you'll be back. You'll be fine.
And later this week, her movie on Tubi premieres on the
Can't
7th.
believe that.
That's
On the 7th.
right.
What a way to celebrate,
So we're going to talk about that, right?
Yeah,
What's the date?
It's on the 7th, which is
7th,
Friday, June 7th.
Okay. Well, I probably won't see it till I get back, but I will definitely watch it before, hopefully before we record.
Great. It'll be great. It's going to be awesome.
By the way, The Acolyte on Disney Plus starts tomorrow.
I know.
Or if you're listening on Tuesday, tonight.
Very exciting.
Mm-hmm. Heard
Good
great
are
things.
happening. Yep. So there
Wow.
you go.
So
All
the
right.
mail sack, we're punting
Yeah, we
that
punted the
sack
sack.
because
We talked a lot of book.
we talk too much, I think. We're like Phoebe. Somebody out there is like, dial it in, guys.
Well, that's probably true.
Too
but
much.
we, listen, I think it was a really good discussion. We talked a lot about personal things in relation to the book. So I don't know. I think it's appropriate to have an extra long one for Pride. You know what I mean?
You have any stories you want to share? Where can they reach us, you guys?
Oh, well, we're on the Twitter at Snopodcast with 1D.
Or Facebook and Instagram at She Nerds Out Podcast.
You can send those book recommendations to shenerdsout@gmail.com or go to our website, shenerdsout.com. Send us a voicemail, send us a message. You can buy us some beers, catch up on old episodes, look at some merch, and then buy it. Don't just look at it. Buy it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's pretty much one-stop snopping is what we like to call it, the website.
Yeah.
All
Has
right, then.
little bios, little pics on there.
Yeah.
Cute.
We're adorable.
I think we look cute.
I feel like we need updated pictures of ourselves. I feel like we've changed since we've.
What are you talking?
taken
We look
pics.
more cute. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's look. In cat adoption, sometimes if you take a picture of a kitten and put it up and it ages, it's
want
not a
people
fair
to know.
representation.
That's fair.
Gotta keep ourselves current.
We do look pretty cute, though.
We look pretty cute.
Nah, maybe we should just leave it.
Good-looking hosts here.
Yeah.
All right, kiddos. We'll see you next time. Remember to do the reading, do your homework. Because in 2
That's
weeks,
right.
we're going to finish up the book.
That's right.
But till then, we'll just go back to mindlessly watching television and talking about it. So we'll see you then. Until next time, she nerds out.
Out.
She nerds out. We're girls that like girls that like nerdy things. Nerdy things.
Any other questions before we start? Comments?
What was the name of the book?
Meet Cleat.
No.
Oh,
Meat,
gotcha.
meat cleaver.
Meat cleaver.
Cleaver.
Yeah, there we go.
Clip cute.
Ugh.
No,
Cute.
that's wrong.
No, it's
What?
Cleat Clit. God.
No, it's cleat,
Yeah.
cleat cunt, you guys. Come on.
Cunt. That's right. No, it's just cunt clit. And then that's a whole other book.